Under the bright African sun, in the peaceful village of Iheri, twin siblings were born. Their names were Kobi and Lami. Though they looked alike, they were as different as night and day. Kobi was always restless, looking for excitement, while Lami loved to dream big but rarely thought things through. Together, they were known as the most mischievous children in the village. Their foolishness was well known. One day, they tied their mother's goats to a cart and tried to ride them like horses. The goats panicked, running wildly through the village, knocking down baskets and spilling food. The market women shouted, "These twins will bring trouble upon us." Another time, they stole a pot of honey from their neighbor, thinking no one would notice. But their sticky hands and guilty faces gave them away immediately. When the elders scolded them, they only giggled and ran off to their next mischief. They also had a habit of taking shortcuts, even when it was dangerous. If there was a well-worn path, the twins would choose the thorny bushes instead. If there was a steady bridge, they would hop across slippery stones just to make things more fun. They never listened to warnings and believed they were too clever to get caught in trouble. Their mother, Mama Kima, loved them dearly but often sighed in frustration. "One day, your foolishness will teach you a hard lesson," she would warn. But the twins only laughed. One morning, the village was buzzing with news. The chief had announced a great festival happening the next day. There would be music, dancing, and plenty of food. "We must be the first to taste the chief's feast," Kobi whispered to Lami, his eyes gleaming with mischief. Lami grinned. "We would find a way to sneak in before everyone else." But first, Mama Kima sent them to fetch water from the river. "Go straight there and come straight home," she said. "And never talk to strangers." The twins set off with their water pots, but on the way, they spotted something glittering under a tree. "Look!" Kobi gasped. "What if it's treasure?" Lami's heart pounded with excitement. "We have to check it out." They left their pots and ran to the tree. Beneath it lay a small, golden drum. "Wow! Let's take it home," Lami said, reaching out. But just then, a deep voice called from behind. "Hey! That belongs to me." The twins turned quickly. A tall, strong man stepped out. It was a traveler resting under the tree. "You are foolish children," he said. "You leave your duty for greed." Terrified, the twins ran back to the river, but their pots were gone. The sun was setting, and they had to return home empty-handed. Mama Kima sighed. "Foolishness leads to trouble," she said. "Now, you will sleep thirsty." Another time, the twins were sent to buy salt from the market. "Do not take the forest path," Mama Kima warned. "There are tricksters there." But Kobi and Lami laughed. "The forest path is shorter. Mama worries too much." As they walked through the tall trees, a short man with sharp eyes appeared. "Where are you going, my friends?" he asked, smiling wide. "To the market to buy salt," Kobi said proudly. The man pulled out a bag. "I have special salt. Take this instead." Lami's eyes sparkled. "We won't need to walk far." They gave the man their money and ran home. But when Mama Kima opened the bag, it was full of sand. "You have been tricked," she scolded. You are too careless. The twins hung their heads, ashamed. The next day, the evening of the great feast, the chief had roasted a whole cow, and everyone was invited. But the twins were impatient. "Let's go early and eat before the others," Lami whispered. So, they sneaked into the chief's compound. The smell of roasted meat filled the air. They licked their lips and grabbed the biggest pieces of meat from a bowl. But just as they took their first bite, the chief's guards stormed in. "Thieves!" they shouted. The twins tried to run, but they were caught. The chief looked at them sternly. "Stealing is wrong," he said. "Because of your foolishness, you will eat last." That night, while the other children feasted, Kobi and Lami sat alone, their stomachs growling. They had learned nothing but trouble from their tricks. Days passed, and the rainy season came. The villagers prepared their farms, but the twins were lazy to help out in the farm. "Why work?" Kobi said. "We can always find food somewhere." But when harvest time came, everyone had food except them. Hungry and ashamed, they finally listened to Mama Kima's words. One day, the chief announced a contest. Whoever can cross the river and bring back the rare white yam will be honored. Kobi and Lami saw their chance. "If we win, we will no longer be known as foolish," Lami said. The journey was long, and the river was deep. They built a raft, but it was weak. Halfway across, it broke, and they tumbled into the water. Struggling, they held onto a floating log and paddled to shore. They were soaked and exhausted, but they did not give up. They searched the hills and valleys until they found the white yam. Carefully, they carried it home. The villagers gasped. "The foolish twins have become wise." The chief smiled. "You have shown courage and wisdom." From that day on, Kobi and Lami were no longer known for their foolishness. They had learned that wisdom is better than tricks, and patience is better than greed. And so, the village of Eheri never forgot the story of the twins who changed their ways. For even the most foolish can become wise, if only they choose to listen.